Hi. Everybody, the movie begins just moments ago. The native villagers were suddenly attacked by an army led by the Mayan nobles. Jones, in order to protect his wife and son, used vines to lower them into a deep pit, but the intruders quickly discovered them. Jones hastily sped up the descent of the vines. For the moment, his wife and child were safe, but his people were still in danger. Jones had to help his tribe resist the invaders. He promised his wife he would return for them. Then he tied off the vines and quickly joined the fight. The Maya warriors were about to strike Jones, but the Maya leader stopped them. Frustrated, the failed warrior lashed out in anger. Jones looked up and was shocked to see his father there as well. The warrior overheard this and ordered his men to lift Jones's father right in front of Jones. They killed him. Then, with one strike, they knocked Jones unconscious. When Jones woke up, he saw his entire tribe bound as captives. He turned his head toward the pit where he had hidden his wife and child. That glance was noticed by the enemy. They followed the vines to the edge of the pit, though they saw nothing unusual at the bottom. One of them picked up a heavy stone and tossed it down. The mother quickly covered the boy's mouth, not daring to make a sound. Before leaving, the enemy even cut the vines leading into the pit, as Jones was taken away as a captain. He watched the vines fall. He silently vowed he would return to rescue his wife and child. They marched through dense forests, they crossed rushing rivers. When they passed a large road, a giant tree suddenly fell. Fortunately, no one was hurt. Soon they were forced into the Maya Empire's hell on earth. Here, captives worked endlessly like machines. It wasn't rare to see them collapse, even coughing up blood. Next, they were taken to the slave market. The women smeared the men with blue paint, and the captured women were treated as objects to be sold. Soon after, Jones was brought before an altar. A severed head rolled down from the top. The crowd erupted in cheers to appease the wrath of the serpent god. The high priest grabbed a captive and pressed him onto the altar. With one strike, he opened his body. He raised the heart high to show the people. Next in line was Jones. He lay on the altar, hopeless. Just as the high priest was about to strike, a solar eclipse appeared in the sky. The Maya, who believed deeply in the gods, were terrified. They thought they had angered the heavens. The high priest quickly calmed the crowd. The gods have drunk their fill of blood. They need no more sacrifices. They will drive away the plague and bring back the light as the sun slowly reappeared. The crowd believed his words and cheered once again. By sheer luck, Jones had escaped death. After that, Jones was taken to a training ground. The Maya opened a weapons chest. They chose a weapon and handed it to a boy. The boy sprinted across the field. He untied the ropes binding one of the captives. Then he announced the rules. If you can escape our attacks, you will regain your freedom and return to the forest. As the captives began to run, the hunters were already in place. Seeing what happened to his companions, Jones made a silent vow. If he survived, he would one day avenge them. The Maya leader drew his bow and quickly released an arrow. Then the leader's son entered the field to finish the job. Jones seized the chance, snapping the arrowhead. He blocked a dagger with one hand and used the arrowhead to fight back. From a distance, the leader sensed something was wrong. Within moments, his son staggered and collapsed. The leader could not believe that his own son had been killed by Jones. Furious, he charged forward. The Maya warriors hurled their weapons. Jones, wounded, pulled a short blade from his back, dragging his injured body. He fled into the cornfield. The Maya warriors all rushed into the field to hunt him down. Breathless, Jones stumbled into the primeval forest. As he paused to catch his breath, he spotted a towering tree to escape the Mayans on his trail. He quickly climbed up. Blood streamed from his wound, leaving him unsure if he could survive the day. The Mayan hunters soon arrived in the area. Jones bit back the pain, not daring to make a sound, but blood trickled down the branches, dripping onto the leaves. One drop fell on the back of a passing Mayan. Fortunately, he didn't notice, allowing Jones to escape death by a hair. Jones raised his head and froze. A black panther was glaring at him from above. He turned and confirmed his worst fear. A dull panther, eyes locked on him, ready to strike. Meanwhile, the Mayans had chased for miles without finding a trace of him. When they discovered blood stains on one of their own, they suspected Jones was hiding in the trees, splitting into two groups. They searched in all directions. At that very moment, Jones was being hunted by the panther. The Mayans spotted him and rushed to surround him, but they failed to notice the beast at his back. As Jones fled, the panther left. Not at him, but at the Mayans, taking them as prey. Jones seized the chance to escape. Even with the panther holding the hunters back, he dared not stop running. His wound worsened with every step. Biting off a strip of tree bark, he chewed it into pulp and smeared it on the wound. He ran from daylight until nightfall, exhausted. He leaned against a tree to rest, only to see his pursuers still close behind. He couldn't afford to stop. His wife was still trapped in the pit, waiting for him to return. Meanwhile, in the pit, his wife witnessed two panthers fighting above. One fell into the hole to protect her child. She grabbed a stone and struck it again and again. By sheer luck, the panther was killed. Mother and child narrowly survived. Back in the forest, Jones pressed on, but the resin he had smeared on branches was discovered by the Mayans, just as one of them called for his companions. A venomous snake bit him. The neck. The leader, knowing he wouldn't survive, abandoned him without hesitation. Soon, Jones was overtaken. The Mayans attacked with weapons, but he dodged every strike. As they closed in, he burst out of the forest only to find himself at a riverbank. Before him, a massive waterfall plunged thousands of feet. Behind him, the hunters advanced, summoning his courage. Jones leapt into the abyss. The Mayans thought he was finished until he resurfaced, alive, and swam to shore, standing tall. He mocked them as cowards who dared not follow. Enraged, the Mayans jumped after him, but fate wasn't on their side. Some struck the rocks below and died instantly. A few landed safely, but only by luck. Seeing this, Jones ran for his life again, but he stumbled into a swamp, clutching at a vine. He tried to pull himself out, but it snapped under his weight. Slowly, he sank into the mire. Just when it seemed he would be swallowed whole, he clawed his way to solid ground, caked head to toe in mud. He looked like a man reborn. The Mayans were already closing in. Jones staggered forward, then suddenly stopped. A new idea had come to him, a way to finally turn the hunters into prey. Jones quickly wrapped the wasp nest in banana leaves. Just as the Mayans caught up, he hurled the nest at them. The moment it hit the ground, it split open, releasing a swarm of angry wasps. The Mayans flailed in pain as the insects stung them. Seizing the chance, Jones dashed deeper into the forest. He caught a poisonous frog, pulled out several sharp thorns, and coated them with its venom. Then he smeared mud on a tree to lure his enemies in, circling the area. He returned to his starting point. When everything was ready, Jones hid in the tall grass, waiting for the Mayans to appear. Before long, the Mayans spotted Jones's trail. One by one, they followed it into the forest. Jones rolled a leaf into a tube and blew a poison dart at a lone Mayan. The dart struck, and the venom worked quickly. The Mayan staggered, then collapsed with a cry. His shout alerted a nearby companion, who rushed back to investigate. As Jones reached for the fallen man's weapon, he ran straight into the returning Mayan. Seeing the killer of his father, Jones could no longer hold back his rage. He charged forward. At that moment, a heavy rain began to fall. Jones remembered that his wife was still trapped in the pit, her life in danger. He raced back with all his strength. By now, the water had already risen to her waist. Jones wanted to pull her out immediately, but the Mayans were closing in fast. He had no choice but to draw them away. Before he could get far, a blade pierced his chest, clutching the wound. Jones forced himself to stand, snapping an arrow in half. He faced the Mayan leader, who drew his dagger and charged, but in doing so, the leader walked right into Jones's trap. Two more Mayans rushed after him. Jones ran for the shore, though his body was failing. Strangely, his pursuers also came to a halt. All of them were stunned by the sight before their eyes. Out on the ocean, an enormous ship appeared unlike anything they had ever seen. A smaller boat was already rowing toward the beach, forgetting Jones. The Mayans headed straight for the strangers. Taking advantage of the moment, Jones stumbled back to save his wife. When he reached the pit, he found her safe and holding their newborn child. As the storm passed and the skies cleared, Jones led his family back into the safety of the deep forest. Like and subscribe for more interesting movie like this. Turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.